Welcome back, everyone. I know we've been a little on and off with the videos lately, but we've just been kind of busy with stuff, and yeah, exactly.
Busy, lazy.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, we're
Just
back.
kidding.
We know you guys have been waiting on us, so
We're going back to the pod.
yeah. Let us know in the
Until
comments if
next
you guys
time.
follow any of the Kendrick and Drake battles.
And it's probably a minor.
Linda was showing me them in the car the other day. We went to go see her family
That
because
song is so catchy.
her family's Egyptian and they celebrate Orthodox Easter on May 5th. So Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
That was unnecessary context, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. All right. Episode 175. Run it.
They not like us. They not like us.
All right. So today we're going to do a video
Sorry,
called Why
second
North
hand.
America Can't Build Nice Apartments. It's by About Here.
Okay, you can't say that because the East Coast has nice as in the foundation, like infrastructure, or
I don't know. Maybe we should watch and find out.
you know what? That's a good idea. I was thinking
Let's
that.
go over. All right. Let's begin.
Quaint walk-up apartments like this one behind me are a beloved feature in cities around the world. They're inviting and full of character. But here in North America, they are not allowed to be built today. Instead, our apartments are big and imposing, often stretching across an entire
They are,
block.
yeah.
And the reason why really comes down to one reason: staircases.
What a workout. It's just like on a loop.
This type of apartment building is called the point access block. Its defining feature is that all its units share one staircase and elevator to the ground floor, which allows for a smaller, skinnier apartment. And these buildings are a common element in some of the most desirable neighborhoods in the world.
All the colors. Sorry, all those colors of these countries that they're showing, they remind me of Wes Anderson.
These little.
They use the same color scheme.
This looks like an San Francisco.
Yeah.
If you're going.
So why don't we build these apartments here in North America?
We do.
Well, in
motherfucker.
Canada and the
They're-
US, all apartments
so
above
sorry.
2 or 3 stories need to give
They're
their
just not
units
common.
access to 2 separate staircases. We're some of the only countries across the world that are this strict about this requirement. In most other places, it only kicks in after 6 or more stories. And this one rule has huge implications.
What's the
Staircases
rule?
take up a lot of space, and fitting 2 of them in a small building means that there's much less usable floor space on every floor. As a result, developers here construct much larger buildings so that the staircases and hallways take up a much smaller proportion of the overall building. It's why apartments in North America in general are much bigger and wider than their
Yeah.
European counterparts. Now, I'm not here to fat shame our bulky North American apartments. No, the reason I care about this issue is because this requirement is causing some major problems. For starters, it's making it much more difficult to build more housing. Big buildings require big properties, and in many cases, finding a property large enough for a large apartment requires a land assembly. This is where you convince multiple landowners to sell their properties to you at the same time so that you can combine them into one big lot. As you can imagine, this is a risky process that requires
Go ahead.
Why do we need one big lot?
This is what's happening a lot here in LA too. I'm sure like other cities
Pun
as well.
intended.
But they're doing this, and then you see a lot of like luxury apartment buildings coming up, and they're very wide
And they're all
huge.
half empty, if not more than half empty, because nobody wants to live in them
Yeah.
because they're overpriced.
Yeah.
negotiations,
location.
legal reviews, and a ton of money. Single staircase buildings, on the other hand, can be much smaller, which means you can often build them on just one property. I think that makes
Damn,
these buildings
nice.
an important solution right now, because cities today are increasingly looking to add more housing into their single-family neighborhoods. Properties in these areas are already small to begin with, and I think it'd be very difficult to add more housing at scale without single staircase buildings. But this requirement isn't just making it more difficult to build new housing, it's also limiting the kinds of housing we can build. The reason why comes down to the hallway connecting the two staircases. It cuts the building in two, which means most of the units on either side of it can really only fit one bedroom. Let me explain. So this hotel I'm staying at kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like on the ground. I've got access to a stair over there and a stair over there, but what that really means is
We have
that
a lot of apartment buildings that look like this. They look like hotels on the inside, with the way that the layout is the same as a hotel. Yeah.
the rooms essentially can only have a window on one side of the wall because there's a unit over there, and there's a unit over there, which is, fine for a hotel room, but for an apartment,
Not to live.
this layout can be really challenging to work with. All bedrooms are required by law to have a window, and when you only have windows on one side of your
window.
apartment, it's challenging to fit any more than one or maybe two bedrooms into
oh my
this
god, that
layout.
was like our last apartment.
Yeah.
Prison. Literal prison cell.
Oh, fuck. Our only window was that small one in the bedroom.
And then the bathroom, but like same wall. Fuck all that
Wait.
noise.
There was a window in the bathroom?
Yeah, there was. It was a little peephole window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To demonstrate, let's take a look at the floor plan of an apartment in Quebec City. Most of its units only have windows on one wall. In fact, this poor unit only has windows on one corner. And because of that, all these units pretty much have to be one-bedroom apartments. This is a problem because our cities are facing a major shortage of apartments with 3 or more bedrooms, the kinds of spaces that are better suited for families. In Metro Vancouver, 3-bedroom apartments make up
Wow, it looks like
2%
New
of
York.
units in the region's rental market, while studios and 1-bedroom apartments make up almost 75%.
Damn, yeah.
And this shortage of family-friendly apartments is where I really see the potential of point access block buildings. When you have one staircase, you don't need a hallway, which means that units can wrap around the staircase in all sorts of different
It'd
ways.
be bigger.
That makes
Yeah,
it
I mean,
easier to
I
have.
do think New York has a ton of those. I've never been, but it just, from what I've seen, there's a lot in New York. You get that skinny, tall type of thing that goes further back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have more walls with windows, which allows for apartment layouts with more than one bedroom. Check out this apartment layout from France. You can see that the single staircase allows for a 3-bedroom unit, 2 2-bedrooms, and 2 1-bedrooms. And you know what else that's
Oh,
good
nice.
for? Smelly roommates. Having open windows on different sides of an apartment makes it easier for air to move through the unit, which provides natural cooling and ventilation. Another upside of the point access block. I'm going to pause this video for a sec because I'm sure some people will point out that there's this thing called scissor stairs that kind of addresses this issue. This is when 2 stairs crisscross down one column together, effectively taking up less space than 2 separate staircases. I don't want to digress too much, so I'm just going to list a few reasons why, in my opinion, scissor stairs aren't a great replacement for single stairs, but feel free to debate me in the comments. So, why do we have this rule? Why does every apartment require 2 staircases? Well, to understand why, we have to go back in history, back to when cities across North America were adopting their first building codes. Back in the day, one of the biggest threats to your life in the city was dying in a fire. That and maybe contracting tuberculosis. In fact, every now and then, an entire city would go up in flames,
Damn.
like Toronto in 1849, Montreal in 1852, Quebec City in 1866, Vancouver in 1886, St. John's in 1892, Westminster in 1898, Ottawa in 1900, and Toronto again in 1904.
Jesus Christ.
That's why
Jeez.
cities across North America began to create robust fire safety regulations like this double staircase rule that's still in effect today. The idea behind it was quite simple. If you're in a building that's on fire, you don't want to be stuck with only one option to get out. What if the staircase is full of smoke or blocked or, on fire? So this was a very understandable rule. It was about our safety. But you might be wondering, why is it then that this rule is so strict in just North America? Well, cities in Asia and Europe had already dealt with this issue centuries before, but their approach was to require buildings to be made of more fireproof materials, like brick and stone. North American cities, on the other
know why
hand,
we don't
were
do that.
growing
I know.
quickly, and it would
I envy the East Coast because a lot of their stuff is made with brick
I mean, we get a
and
ton of
stone and
fires out
stuff
here.
like that. Yeah.
A lot.
It's just, obviously, it's way cheaper to do with wood.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I know.
rent is not cheap, so might as well make it worth it.
Yeah.
It's much quicker to build it out of wood than to painstakingly lay bricks
Exactly.
and stones.
Yeah.
Plus, wood was more readily available in North America, and with the invention of the automobile, cities were on the cusp of suburban sprawl, which would put much less pressure on building compact apartment buildings downtown. Sprinkle in a little bit of classism around housing types, and you have our North American compromise for the building code. Build with less fireproof materials, but compensate with stricter regulations. So sure, we might have had our suburban sprawl here, but at least we got safer buildings. With this double staircase requirement, we've saved countless of lives, while in the rest of the world, people are still perishing in fires in their single staircase buildings. Take that, Amsterdam. Well, that's not exactly true. As you can see on this chart, the US and Canada don't have the fewest fire deaths per capita, not by a long shot. It turns out there are so many other factors that contribute towards fire safety. In fact, it seems like the real success story of our building codes hasn't been so much about helping people escape fires, but preventing them in the first place. For example, regulating the materials buildings are made out of, requiring fire doors, pressurized staircases, sprinklers, fire alarm systems, and fire extinguishers. Today, almost every aspect of your home has been vetted for fire safety. Even your mattress is required by law to be made out of fire-resistant materials.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Those requirements have also coincided with a very important cultural change. In most places, smoking indoors is now prohibited. As a result, building fires have decreased.
I will say, it would have been cool to like live in a town where you could smoke everywhere.
No, not my asthma.
Well, I mean, besides the asthma, it just like I feel like it would have been just so cool to be like smoking anywhere. I don't know.
Don't you throw up when you smoke?
Shut the fuck up. No, I don't.
Increased about 50% over the past several decades, and they've become much less severe. So this requirement to have 2 staircases is hardly the most significant improvement we've made to fire safety by a long shot. And when it gets in the way of new housing supply and family-sized apartments, it does make you wonder, do we need this rule at all? Well, personally, I think that doing away with this rule altogether would be too drastic. It exists for a reason, and in my opinion, the problem isn't the rule itself, but just how broadly we've applied it. I'll remind you, every apartment in Canada above 2 stories has to follow this rule. We're the only country in the world that is this strict about it, and I think we're missing some important nuance. If you live in a high-rise where hundreds of people need to be evacuated in a fire, I get that having 2 separate stairs would still be really important. But what about a 6-story apartment? Or even a 3-story apartment? In fact, there are a few cities in North America that have made exemptions to this rule. For example, Seattle. In 1977, the city began allowing apartments up to 6 stories to have just 1 staircase, provided they comply with other safety regulations. Today, it's one of the few cities in North America where you can see modern single staircase buildings. And for this video, I wanted to visit one for myself.
Do the stairs take that much space?
I feel like it does. It can if you don't do it right. I
Is
feel
there like a width it needs to be?
I don't know.
Because why don't you just have like a normal size and then one that's maybe a little smaller? I don't feel like it could take up that much space where it makes the biggest difference. That's
Oh, I like that.
the way he pointed out.
That's a
was
nice
right there.
kitchen.
Yeah, that was very breathable.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
And it just disappears like that.
Sick.
Here in Metro
That's
Vancouver,
nice for an apartment.
Urbanarium is hosting a design competition to explore what buildings could look like
Seattle,
if we
yeah.
changed, updated, or eliminated codes like this one. It's called Decoding Density, and it's intended to imagine new possibilities for 6-story housing forms by challenging codes and building requirements, as well as encouraging ideas that highlight affordability. To find out more and register for the competition, visit decodingdensity.com. There's $44,000 in cash prizes available, and your entry could be featured in an upcoming About Here video. Now, if all this makes you a bit nervous, I get it. After all, these codes are about our safety. But I do want to mention that these codes do change over time as our technology and our understanding of safety evolves. For example, the BC government recently amended its building code to increase the maximum height of wood buildings from 6 to 12 stories because of innovations in wood construction like mass timber that can make wood stronger and more fire resistant. It's important that we continue to discuss and update these rules as our world changes. So the next time you're at a party or visiting your family or on a date, bring up staircases or fire protection ratings or dead-end conditions and elevators. I mean, oh my God, so much.
Don't do it. All right. That was cool. I mean, it was interesting. I learned so much. No, I'm just kidding. The host.
I think you could still have nice apartments. I feel like a lot of the apartments are nice.
Yeah, I do just feel like we also.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't think we need larger buildings.
No.
I just don't.
I don't think so either. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Jump over to our vlog channel where there is a new video out today.
We think.
No, it's out today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. Make sure to jump over there, okay, guys? We're holding you to it. All right. Be loyal loners. Yeah. All right. Like and subscribe to this channel as well, guys.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you in the next one.
Click that big fat red juicy button under us. What the fuck was that?
It was a wind up. All right. Peace.
Bye.